Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a humid evening in Lagos. 22-year-old Amara, scrolling through Instagram, tries a trending beauty filter.
Right.
Suddenly, her rich ebony skin lightens, her beautifully coiled hair smooths, her features subtly altered to look, well, more European.
Hmm.
You can almost feel her smile falter, seeing a stranger in her own reflection. She posts it with hashtag #melaninpoppin, but the silent question hangs heavy. Why should she have to be remade to be considered beautiful by a machine, by an algorithm?
And what's truly fascinating here is that Amara's experience is far from isolated. Across the world, millions are asking that very question. Are we inadvertently training our machines to be Eurocentric?
Exactly.
This deep dive isn't just about, two tech giants vying for market share. It's TikTok and Instagram's algorithms encountering this powerful wave of resistance.
From the Afro beauty movement, AI fairness champions.
Precisely. It's a fundamental struggle over the very definition of beauty in our digital age. And it impacts not just cultural identity, but like global trends, business strategies, even geopolitics.
Yeah, it's huge.
From Silicon Valley to Agra and Nairobi to Beijing's boardrooms and Brazil's favelas, it's a truly global issue. And honestly, it presents both challenges and massive opportunities for innovative companies and leaders.
So the question naturally arises, how do we even get here? To a point where the tech that connects billions inadvertently um, codified old beauty biases into its very DNA.
It's a story that really begins behind the scenes,
Yes.
stemming from the foundational choices made when these powerful platforms were initially conceived and optimized for scale.
Tell us about those foundational choices. Where did we first see this problem emerge in the algorithms themselves? Was it like intentional from the start?
Well, a critical early indicator came from internal ByteDance, that's TikTok's parent company meetings in Beijing around 2019. Discussions apparently centered on keeping content aspirational.
Aspirational, okay. What did that mean in practice?
Well then, in early 2020, leaked documents revealed explicit instructions to moderators. They were told to suppress videos featuring, quote, ugly facial looks or depressing environments like slums.
Wow. Explicitly.
Explicitly, the aim was to cultivate a glossy, idealized vibe, which implicitly marginalized certain faces and places.
Mm.
Now, TikTok later denied official enforcement of those specific documents, but, the world had seen behind the curtain. People recognized the platform's active curation.
So a clear, if maybe later denied, directive from TikTok's leadership. Meanwhile, over at Instagram, was there a similar pattern, maybe less explicitly stated, but still cultivating that aspirational look?
Absolutely. Around the same time, maybe even a bit earlier, Instagram had cultivated what quickly became known as the Instagram face.
Right, I remember that term.
Yeah, high cheekbones, smooth, poreless skin, almond eyes, plump lips, a slim nose. It was this homogenized, distinctly Eurocentric look.
And achievable by anyone with the right filter.
Exactly. Tuned to what the algorithm seemed to reward. It became the aspirational standard, almost like a digital template for beauty, amplified by millions of likes and shares.
So what does this all mean for you, the user scrolling through your feed every day? The pushback truly began when people realized they weren't just encountering an implied beauty standard, but were being actively disadvantaged, maybe through content suppression.
The experiences of individuals really brought this into sharp focus. Take the British model Naomi Nicholas Williams in mid-2020.
Okay.
She's a black, plus-size woman. She had a tasteful, artistic photo removed for nudity, while, less clothed white influencers remained perfectly visible.
That's blatant.
Right. It wasn't an isolated incident. It highlighted this painful pattern. Bodies that didn't fit the algorithm's training data of ideal beauty were often flagged as inappropriate or simply hidden from view, sort of shadow banned.
And she spoke out powerfully about it. I think she said something like, the algorithms on Instagram are biased against women, more so black women and minorities, especially fat black women. That's a direct challenge.
Yeah, and it really cut to the core of what many were feeling. Her words resonated so widely that Instagram's head, Adam Mosseri, actually publicly admitted it in June 2020.
He did. What did he say?
He said, "The irony that we're a platform that stands for elevating black voices, but at the same time, black people are often harassed, afraid of being shadow banned, and disagree with many content takedowns is not lost on me."
Wow.
For those unfamiliar, shadow banned means your content is subtly deprioritized or hidden without you knowing. Mosseri's admission was huge. For a Silicon Valley giant to publicly acknowledge algorithmic bias and the black community in the same breath, It really signaled a shift in their internal discourse, or at least their public one.
Moser's public admission was definitely a significant moment. It showed that even the platforms themselves were starting to maybe grapple with these issues. But to truly understand why this problem became so pervasive, we need to zoom out, right? Look at the fundamental mechanics. You mentioned it wasn't always malicious intent.
Right. Often it's a profound consequence of how machines learn and, crucially, the data they're fed.
Explain that reinforcing loop.
Okay, so algorithms learn from patterns. What gets likes, what holds attention. If most engaged posts historically featured, say, slim, light-skinned influencers, the machine learned, okay, people like this. Give them more of that.
Creating a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. As one analysis noted, our feed's products of the algorithm function as reflections of our own unconscious biases. These conceptions of what we regard as beautiful or not are regularly informed by Eurocentric standards. The tech was mirroring society's biases and critically amplifying them at scale.
And we saw this played out in a very stark way with that infamous AI beauty contest a few years back.
Oh yeah, the 2016 AI beauty contest. It's a perfect, if unsettling, illustration. First international beauty contest judged entirely by AI.
And the results.
Out of 44 winners, nearly all were white, a few Asian, and only one with dark skin. The AI was trained predominantly on light-skinned images. It effectively didn't know how to appreciate darker beauty.
So it's not just reflecting bias, it's kind of
Sure.
encoding it, making it seem objective.
That's the insidious part. It reifies and institutionalizes those biases. When an algorithm, which people often see as neutral or objective, codifies a flawed standard, it lends this authority to those biases, making them much harder to challenge.
That's a really striking example. And if the AI couldn't even see certain kinds of beauty, how did this translate into what users were actively encouraged to become through things like filters?
Precisely. It wasn't just about what was promoted, but what was altered. That became a huge issue. In China, apps like Meitu became ubiquitous around 2018, 2019.
I've heard of Meitu. Skin whitening, eye enlarging.
Exactly. Whitening skin, enlarging eyes, narrowing jaws, creating a face closer to this East Asian meets Eurocentric ideal. One filter was even called mixed blood, which tells you a lot about the perceived ideal.
Wow.
Meitu's co-founder proudly noted their product almost literally transformed the face of China. Selfie editing became so standard it was almost considered polite to Meitu or a friend's face before sharing a photo. These apps weren't just catering to existing preferences, they were reinforcing and amplifying them globally.
So by 2020, the conversation was shifting dramatically. It wasn't just individual frustration anymore, right? It was becoming a collective recognition that these digital mirrors were reflecting a really narrow, biased image of beauty.
Yeah, the stage was set for a dramatic counter-movement, driven by those who felt unseen, unheard, or just plain misrepresented.
And this counter movement really gained momentum with direct action from creators, forcing the platforms to confront their own biases, didn't it?
Absolutely. We saw pivotal moments like TikTok Blackout Day, May 19, 2020.
Tell us about that.
Thousands of Black creators collectively went silent, or they flooded TikTok with Black-only content. They used hashtags like #Blackout and #BlackVoiceHeard. It was this powerful digital protest against shadow banning and, importantly, the uncredited co-option of their dances and trends.
That must have sent shockwaves through TikTok.
It did, and it was quickly followed by a major PR disaster for them, the George Floyd glitch in late May 2020.
The glitch, what happened?
Videos tagged #BlackLivesMatter and #George Floyd inexplicably showed 0 views for a period. TikTok called it a technical glitch, but the timing was terrible. They apologized on June 1st, pledging $4 million to Black justice organizations. It was seen as a direct admission of a systemic issue, or at least a catastrophic failure, and a public attempt to make amends.
Okay, so apologies, donations, but this raises an important question. How do we push for real systemic change beyond apologies and these one-off actions? This is where figures like Joy Buolamwini step in.
Exactly. Joy Buolamwini, a Ghanaian-American computer scientist, founder of the Algorithmic Justice League, she became a really prominent voice around 2020, 2021.
Her personal experience at MIT was quite telling, wasn't it?
Incredible story. Facial recognition software literally couldn't detect her dark-skinned face unless she wore a white mask.
Unbelievable.
And she connected this directly to beauty standards. She said in a 2021 interview, algorithms can show unfair biases, favoring who is a beautiful woman, based on a European standard of beauty, leaving many women of color excluded. She showed how even seemingly frivolous filters were part of this bigger continuum of algorithmic bias, impacting self-perception, representation, everything.
And her crusade was powerful enough to attract some significant corporate allies, surprisingly, like Olay.
Indeed. By late 2020, early 2021, Olay partnered with Bulamwini for their hashtag Decode Thebius campaign. They wanted to highlight how beauty filters, even search results, often cater to Eurocentric standards, implicitly telling women with dark skin they were somehow less beautiful.
Which, for a beauty company, is counterintuitive.
Or maybe very intuitive if you want to sell to everyone.
Mm.
Crucially, from a business perspective, Olay also pledged to triple the number of women of color in STEM fields by 2030. They recognized that biased AI wasn't just socially irresponsible, it was bad for business. More diverse coders could create more inclusive code.
That makes sense. But maybe the most dramatic pushback came directly from the creators themselves again, culminating in the Black TikTok strike in the summer of 2021.
That was unprecedented. Black creators refused en masse to choreograph a dance for a new Megan Thee Stallion song.
Why that song specifically?
It wasn't just about that song, it was a breaking point. They were fed up with white influencers consistently co-opting their creative work dances, trends, slang, often going viral and getting credit, while the original Black creators remained overlooked or uncredited by the platform and users.
I remember seeing that. User at Capkin Knuckles famously declared, "This app would be nothing without Black people."
Exactly. This collective action, this strike, forced TikTok to issue a formal statement. They promised to instill a culture where honoring and crediting creators is the norm. It highlighted a systemic issue of who the algorithm amplified and who it left behind. It was a real reputational and, frankly, operational challenge for them.
And crucially, this wasn't just an American issue, was it? These conversations, these frustrations were echoing globally in very different cultural contexts.
Absolutely, you saw it everywhere. In Brazil, activists coined the term algoritmo ciego, the blind algorithm.
Blind algorithm.
Yeah, to describe how beauty filters routinely lighten morena or brown skin, and how content by non-white creators often seem to be punished or suppressed. Their hashtag #SilbaDivisível campaign in 2022 actually prompted Instagram Brazil to meet with them and promise better moderation training.
What about other regions?
In India, there was outrage back in 2019 when a major beauty pageant had all fair-skinned finalists, sparking widespread criticism of Eurocentric bias, amplified by media and, implicitly, by social filters. These were global grievances against a seemingly universal digital preference for lighter skin.
And from Africa, we saw a powerful call to action, not just to be users of AI, but to become shapers of it. That feels like a key shift.
Exactly. Senegalese tech entrepreneur Adama Diallo put it perfectly at a 2022 Accra summit. We need data sets of our own faces, our own languages, our own aesthetics, so that we aren't just users of AI, but shapers of it.
And that started happening.
Yes. In places like Nairobi and Lagos, you saw Afrotech startups emerging, building camera apps specifically designed to celebrate dark skin and natural features. By 2023, the myth of the neutral algorithm was well and truly shattered. Incidents like Facebook's AI mislabeling Black men as primates in 2021 just further cemented the urgent need for accountability and culturally aware design.
This growing awareness, this global pushback, it started leading to demands for change from some unexpected corners, even governments and corporate boardrooms. This really highlights the geopolitical and economic stakes involved now.
Yeah, the scrutiny became global and, importantly, regulatory. In March 2023, TikTok CEO Shou Zi Chew faced some really tough questioning from U.S. lawmakers, specifically about racial bias in TikTok's algorithms.
Right, I remember that hearing.
And at the same time, the European Union was finalizing its landmark AI Act. This mandates bias assessment and mitigation in AI systems. It signals a fundamental shift where even recommender algorithms, like those on social media, might need auditing for fairness and non-discrimination. Governments are now actively shaping the playing field.
And Europe had its own specific incidents that really pushed this agenda forward too, didn't it?
Indeed. There was a Polish teenager whose viral 2021 AI-generated video showed her doctored, more Eurocentric image getting way more likes than her natural one. It just laid bare the online pressure for conformity.
And the UK.
The UK's Advertising Standards Authority actually banned misleading beauty filters in influencer ads back in 2021. That was a direct response to the blurring lines between reality and these algorithmically enhanced ideals.
It seems Asia also saw a kind of counter-movement, challenging the very norms its own apps had perhaps helped establish.
Absolutely. In China, you have some influencers starting to post filter-free videos. Even state media began warning about the dangers of the internet celebrity face.
Hmm.
In South Korea and Japan, there were serious discussions about how social media reinforces incredibly strict beauty standards, contributing to things like Snapchat dysmorphia.
So people were asking, are these beauty standards truly ours, or are they algorithmically amplified imports creating unhealthy social pressures?
Precisely. And this highlights how intense business rivalry can sometimes inadvertently become a catalyst for positive change. The fierce competition between TikTok and Instagram for global youth engagement actually spurred diversity.
How so? That seems counterintuitive.
Well, think about it. TikTok's early, more democratic reach, the idea that almost anyone could go viral, forced Instagram's Reels to mimic that. They needed to aim for a wider variety of creators to compete effectively, to keep users engaged.
Well, variety became a competitive advantage.
Exactly. By 2023, TikTok consciously adjusted its algorithm to prioritize more diverse content, partly to counter the filter bubble effect. They realized that if your algorithm only feeds people one look or one culture, you're actually delivering a worse, less engaging product in the long run. Variety keeps attention, and attention is their currency. It became a powerful business driver for diversity.
And we're seeing tangible African-led solutions emerge now that are not just local successes, but are actually influencing the global players. That's inspiring.
Yeah, there's a Ghanaian photo editing app that emerged in 2024. It's a fantastic example of innovative market leadership. It specifically celebrates dark skin with filters named after African goddesses.
That's
It
brilliant.
went viral, gained massive user loyalty, and you could bet Instagram noticed. They later incorporated more flattering filters for dark skin. It demonstrated clearly that respecting cultural identity was also smart business, especially if you want to tap into Africa's 1.3 billion people. You simply can't win globally anymore if your platform marginalizes Black beauty and diverse identities.
This brings us to a really pivotal moment, the active re-engineering of these powerful algorithms. This isn't just talk anymore. It's about concrete, actionable changes in how the technology is actually built.
The Web Summit in Lisbon in 2025 really showcased this fundamental shift. There was a panel on re-engineering algorithms featuring a TikTok VP, Instagram's head of diversity and inclusion, and Joy Buolamwini. They were discussing real, tangible solutions.
Like what were they proposing?
Well, TikTok talked about an algorithmic audit tool they were developing for outside experts to use. Instagram showcased their algorithmic transparency features, explaining why am I seeing this post. And they announced an algorithm bias bounty program.
A bounty program, like for finding bugs.
Exactly, but for finding bias. I remember Dr. Kamau, a Kenyan AI researcher on that panel, really cutting to the chase, though. She asked, okay, this is good, but are you guys changing the training data, the teams, the underlying assumptions? Because that's where bias starts.
That's the critical question. What was the response?
The TikTok engineer confirmed they were making significant investments in diverse training sets. Crucially, they mentioned adopting the Monk skin tone scale.
The hunk scale. What's that?
It's a 10 skin tone palette developed at Harvard, specifically designed to evaluate AI fairness across skin tones. It's much more nuanced and representative than older methods like the Fitzpatrick scale, which was originally for dermatology, how skin reacts to sun, not for accurately representing diverse complexions in digital images.
That sounds like a concrete step. What about Instagram's response to Dr. Kamau?
Their D&I head elaborated on the bias bounty program, essentially offering rewards to independent researchers and even regular users who could identify and help them fix biased outcomes or bugs in their systems. It's like crowdsourcing fairness to some extent.
And Joy Buolamwini's vision here, it really connects this tech fight to a broader civil rights movement, doesn't it? Highlighting the heroism of everyday users and activists.
Her message is crystal clear. Algorithms are made by humans, and humans can change. Accountability is key. The fight for civil rights in the 21st century includes algorithmic rights. She reminded everyone of her 2020 congressional testimony, which actually influenced big tech companies to pause selling facial recognition AI to police forces. She argued the same powerful collective action can and must be applied to social media bias. It's really a call to arms for digital equity.
It feels like the language of fairness has truly entered the mainstream of innovation now. Diversity in AI is starting to be seen as best practice, not just morally right, but strategically essential for business success.
It's a profound shift in mindset for the industry, though still ongoing, of course. You wouldn't knowingly ship software with major security holes. Now, the industry is inching towards not wanting to ship software with known bias holes either. It signals a maturity in product development, a deeper understanding of the societal impact of technology. That's a critical lesson for any aspiring business leader today.
So let's circle back. Back in Lagos, our influencer Amara scrolls through her feed in 2025. What does she see?
Hopefully she's noticed tangible changes. More creators who look like her, more Afrocentric fashion taking center stage, makeup artists specializing in deeper skin tones getting amplified. Maybe her own video recently went viral, recognized by the algorithm, seen globally.
It's about time, she thinks. Knowing her culture, her look, have a vibrant, celebrated place on the world's digital stage.
Yeah, but it's not a perfect picture.
Yeah.
Right? We have to be honest. Vigilance is still absolutely needed. Algorithms, at their core, are still primarily optimized for engagement, whatever drives clicks and watch time. So new bias filters or harmful trends can always creep back in. But this journey, from widespread algorithmic bias to these demands for cultural reengineering, it marks a really profound shift. We were training machines to be Eurocentric, perhaps unintentionally at first, but the effect was real. Now, there's a concerted global effort driven by users, activists, researchers, and even some within the companies to retrain those machines, and crucially, the people who build them, to value a much broader spectrum of beauty and identity.
It really feels like a reassertion of human dignity in the digital space.
I think so. The battle for algorithmic fairness isn't just about tech specs. It's demanding that our digital reflections honor the true, messy, wonderful diversity of our world. It's a power shift, maybe slow, maybe incomplete, but definitely moving from opaque algorithms towards greater user and regulatory accountability.
So what does this all mean for you, the learner, the user, navigating this rapidly evolving digital world? Consider this. If our digital mirrors learn from us, constantly observing what we click, what we share, what we value, what kind of reflection are we actively choosing to cast?
Yeah, what signals are we sending back to the machine?
Are we casting a reflection that continues to echo old biases? Or are we consciously choosing and demanding one that truly celebrates all of us in all our vibrant, diverse forms for the next generation online?
You've been listening to Empire and Legacy, African Business Chronicles. Our hosts are Zuri Mwangi and Kwame Adeyemi. Main episodes are released each Monday. Our hosts delve deeper into the CEOs at the helm on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we explore the global perspectives, the standout businesses and CEOs, emerging trends, and geopolitical developments, presenting both risk and opportunity. We're back each week, sharing more stories about the exciting business rivalries shaping the future of business across Africa. Empire and Legacy is essential listening for business professionals and leaders. Be sure to subscribe to be the first to know when new episodes are released. Until next time.